This is John. Thanks for joining me on this topic, this very sensitive topic of depression. Food for thought. Many years ago I went through a very difficult time in my business. I was self-employed and things got very, very bad. I was having difficulty making my payments and wife and children, and it was just very, very difficult. And it got to the stage where I was just about crying myself to sleep at night, and of course you get up in the morning and you've got to put a brave face on things for the family and carry on as if everything's okay, and it just got steadily worse and worse. And then I started to get suicidal thoughts. I'm not saying I would have done something like that, but you do think that way, and it's very, very hard, and you get into a cycle, and these thoughts just keep swirling about in your head. And I had no idea what I was going to do to solve the problem. It was just very, very difficult, and I felt as if my back was against the wall. There was no hope, and that life was just going to be over, because I just couldn't bear the thought of carrying on like that, or having people look at me as if I had a bad reputation, and all these thoughts go through your mind. Anyway, someone gave me something that gave me food for thought and helped me to remember the things in my life that were important, and from that moment on I started to change the way I thought, because most of the time before, and I'm usually a very positive person, but during that period it was very, very difficult. I was just constantly thinking negative thoughts. Once you start thinking negative thought, you're into that negative spiral, and then you just get deeper and deeper and deeper. So I decided after some thought that it was time to change. But to change this pattern of negative thoughts is very, very difficult. It's so easy to slip into the negative thought pattern, to get into that downward spiral. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. And we feel sorry for ourselves, and we say, why me? Why does this happen to me? How can I get out of this? And it's just, everything's dark and depressing. So I started to use positive thoughts. Every time I had a negative thought, I endeavoured to replace it with a positive thought. And I worked at it, and this is something you have to work at constantly, because as soon as you have a negative thought and if you allow it to get a foot in the door, you're back into that downward spiral again. So it was constant work. Every time I had a negative thought, change it to a positive thought immediately. Work on that positive thought, make it fill my mind, let nothing else get in but this positive thought. And consequently, my energy started to change. My business started to get better. In fact, it got so much better I could not believe the difference. But it was only because I had made that, for me, difficult decision to change the way I thought and really, really work at it. It wasn't a difficult decision to decide that I wanted to change the way I thought. It was changing the way I thought was a difficult thing. And it was extremely difficult, because every day you're hoping you're going to get more money come in to pay the bills. Every day you're looking for different ways to make life better. Every day you're looking for things to say that are going to sound positive for your family while you know you're dying inside. So it really, really worked for me. And I've written down some just little food for thought, which I'll go over with you now. And I do hope that it helps if you're suffering from depression. Incidentally, for a long time in my life I've been involved in helping other people through healing and things like that. And after that period, I had worked with some people who were in actual fact suicidal. And the experience I had, how difficult it was for me, helped me to relate much better to them with what they were going through. And subsequently, I believe they went on to feel much more positive about their lives. Anyway, here is my food for thought. The brain is a muscle which needs therapeutic exercise. The dark downward spiral of depression, when reversed, becomes the stairway leading to joy. Adequacy is our natural state, which we strip away when we focus on what we do not have, or something which is out with our control, leading to a feeling of inadequacy. Being low self-esteem does not win you the limbo dance, it keeps you in limbo. Feeling like death is no way to live. Resurrect your inner light. To feel light and frothy only requires shaking up the old ways. If you feel you cannot make it, fake it until you do. You only need to fool yourself. Depression can be like the weather, where dark clouds hide the sunshine. It cannot remove it from the heavens. It is always there. Our negative thoughts seem to travel in never-ending circles. The thing about a circle is that it is also a cycle. If your cycle didn't work, you get it fixed or get a new one. Weaknesses are just misunderstood strengths. Turn the light on and the darkness disappears. Fear is the prison which encloses us. Comfort zone, spelled as it means, is cage. C-A-G-E. The desire to improve is the first step to self-improvement. Your brain is a flesh and blood computer which needs debugging. The brain is a wonderful servant, but a very poor master. Depression is like a computer virus, difficult to detect, but definitely fixable. The body is like computer hardware, the brain is the firmware, and your thoughts the software. If your software doesn't work properly for you, then replace it. If your thoughts are like music, what music do you hear? What type of music would you like to hear? If you imagine dark negative thoughts are the shadows which inhabit a beautiful room, then we need only open the curtains or turn the light on. Mental assistance is preferable to medical assistance. Stimulation is much better than aggravation. Thoughts are like water held in a state of no movement, making stagnation inevitable. Thank you for joining me. I hope these thoughts were helpful for you. I never feel you're alone. I felt I was alone. I felt no one understood what I was going through, and of course that's not true, but we think that at the time. We feel helpless, we feel fearful, we feel hopeless, and yet these are only states of mind. If we're breathing, if we have water to drink, food to eat, and a roof over our head, then we're doing a lot better than some other people in this world. Take care, and I wish you the very best of mental health.